episode of the Midnight Masterminds, Screenplay's movie news and reviews podcast. Joining me this week are the new hosts of Midnight Masterminds.
Oh, God. You looked
great
at
start.
me. You looked at me.
Well, because I was talking about you. That wasn't your cue.
All right.
That was your cue, Taylor. Introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Taylor.
Hi, I'm Kitt.
Louder, please.
Hi, I'm Kitt.
Louder and clearer for the people in the back.
Kitt is... Hi, I'm Kitt.
And today we're going to be talking about a couple small headlines, including what the fuck happened with Dark Phoenix. Who saw that coming? I did, and so did most of the rest of the world. And reviews for Men in Black International and Shaft. High stakes movie reviews for our first episode back. Start things off. Let's talk about some of the trailers that popped. Most notably for me, Dr. Sleep. It's a new Stephen King adaptation. Carrying on not directly, but it's gonna be a sequel to The Shining, but I'll bet you also like just a universe movie for the Kingdom. I think, is that a real thing? I don't know. I think that's what they're calling the Stephen King-averse.
The Kingdom?
That's clever.
I just got it because his last name is King.
Congrats.
That might have been a joke that Brian told me.
Might as well call it the Castle.
But did either of you guys see Pet Sematary?
I did. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't either. I thought it was really, really well made, but it was the like gross kind of horror that just...
It looked like it was really well made for a Lifetime original film.
Oh, shit. Brutal. But we're not talking about that. Let's talk about that Dr. Sleep trailer.
I thought it looked cool. It kind of reminded me of Haunting of Hill House, which was a horror property I was a big fan of in terms of like the effects and the kind of surrealism of what's happening in it. Pet Sematary was just kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought Pet Sematary was, like I said, was really well made. The performances were great, and
was it? I don't think it is. It doesn't sound great.
But
it's like the Bible.
It's like the first one was real good. I'm really looking forward to the second one. I'm interested to see this like new universe of like horror movies and stuff. I just really hope they're good because, like you said before we started recording, is like there's a chance that this is gonna kind of negatively impact the Shining, like the original Shining. Which is a good movie. It's not what Stephen King wanted for The Shining, but still.
That's why it was good.
Probably. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know about you guys. I don't think you saw the trailer, did you, Kitt?
No, sir.
All right. And then let's talk about Frozen 2.
Frozen 2.
Frozen 1.
Looks... The color palette reminds me of Game of Thrones.
A little bit. It's so grim.
Does look spooky.
It does
look so serious.
Crazy.
It does.
Man, what a cool new extreme sport to like ice waving, man. I can't wait for this to... What if it just evolved into the plot of Goofy Movie 2, Extreme Movie?
I can't wait to see what Anna's decapitating in the end of the first trailer.
Yeah.
I'm so curious.
The audience.
Yeah. It's gonna be this new remarkable technology where a real sword comes out of the screen and stabs a random member of the audience.
It's like Shrek 4D, but with swords.
Yeah.
Instead of spit.
I don't know. I liked the first Frozen for like the first week after it came out, but then all of the Frozen mania happened, and people blew it way out of proportion, and that negatively impacted my love of the movie, so much so that I haven't seen it since like 2014.
That isn't 100% fair to the film itself. But...
No, but I don't know. I'm hoping this one's real good. I can't wait for everyone to have a new song to sing every day of every minute of every day for the
Let It Go,
parentheses,
again.
Yeah, honestly. They better not do a fucking reprise of that fucking movie.
Yeah, so the one thing that John Lasseter did do very well when he took the helm at Disney Animation was he really turned around. So he was named the new creative officer. I don't know why I looked at Freddie.
Freddie's getting.
I believe he was listed as the chief creative officer of both Disney Animation and Pixar Animation. And the first film that came out that had started production under him, I believe, was Tangled, and that's why every film since Tangled has had a roughly similar look, minus Princess and the Frog.
Well, yeah, but that was a special.
And there was that weird portion of Disney animation between Chicken Little? Yeah. And Bolts, where it was 3D animated films, but not under Lasseter, that were very underwhelming overall.
Very not good.
Yeah.
Did all the Cars sequels and spin-offs fit under that?
He, I believe, was the director of the first Cars and Cars 2. I don't recall if he worked on Cars 3 at all. I'm sure he was at the very least a executive producer. I believe he's an executive producer on everything that's been produced.
Since we're talking about him, we can talk. That can lead us into, because there was another trailer that you and I saw for the first time. I'm not sure if it dropped, but that new Pixar movie with Tom Holland. And
Onward.
What?
Homeward, Onward, I believe it was called.
I didn't hear this, and I'm super stoked.
There's a new Pixar film.
Yeah, there's a new Pixar film coming out, and it's got Tom Holland and Chris Pratt are playing brothers.
Chris Pratt.
The whole point of the movie, or like the conceit or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Onward. I think. No.
I think it's Onward.
Is it?
It's interesting to see that Pixar took up the
It is Onward. Yeah, it's coming out next year. It's coming out next year.
What's the synopsis?
The premise is it's like a fantasy world, like of magic and elves and orcs and dragons and unicorns and stuff.
My shit.
But like time carried on, and we discovered technology.
Sick.
So it's like the modern day, but like
it's like orcs living in a suburban neighborhood.
Yeah. So like in the trailer, like Tom Holland's character is walking out to Chris Pratt's character's like van, because they have to go run some like errand.
Okay.
And there are unicorns eating out of their garbage, but they're like rats. They're like cats.
Possums
or whatever. And he goes, ugh.
Into it.
Unicorns.
And you pointed out that they were technically Pegasi.
They were Pegasi because they had wings.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah, unless they're winged unicorn. Do they have the horn?
They have the horn. And the wings.
Isn't that another thing?
Yeah, you could be a winged unicorn, but I agree that it's...
What's a winged unicorn? Isn't that like an actual...
It's just a Pegasus.
Pegasi.
Pegasus doesn't have a horn.
Yeah, Pegasus doesn't have a horn. But I agree that unicorns chiefly should not have wings.
Yeah.
They
just made some weird bastardization of two mythological types of horse.
Yeah, it's like they're... Yeah.
But anyway,
fine, whatever.
I think it looks good. Of the three that we just talked about, that's the one I'm the most interested in.
It's nice to see Disney, or Pixar in particular,
doing original stuff.
After they've been doing sequels for a minute.
Thank God.
The last original film from them, was it The Good Dinosaur?
Yeah.
I think so.
Which was...
No, wait. Wasn't Coco?
Coco. No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Coco was actually pretty good.
Coco
was phenomenal.
Coco remains my favorite, I think.
Wow.
Of all Pixar films?
Of all Pixar films.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah. Might be Monsters, Inc. Might be a tie. Yeah.
Interesting.
What's yours?
I'm a Wally man myself.
Yeah? You're a Wally man?
See, I like growing up movie. On the ranch, Papa used to tell me.
See, I like that movie, but I've only ever seen it twice, and I've only ever cared to see it that many times.
That's fair.
And I admired, it's beautiful, and it's fucking amazing.
It has one of my favorite film scores of all time.
What?
It was very good.
What?
I said it has one of my favorite film scores of all time.
Yeah, it's good. It's real good.
Really
Wall-E was the first movie where I really got to the behind the scenes of how it was made, and was one of the films that made me want to get into entertainment as a whole. So.
Oh yeah, Up is one of my favorite films because it did the same thing for me, where it was like I watched it and then I was like, I gotta do more.
No more
stuff like that. It was just really a profound film for me.
Mine was The Pink Panther.
The Steve Martin film?
Yep.
Wait,
really?
We're talking about first movies we ever saw where we were like, that's it? We
were
talking about
Yeah.
Oh, well then that's not that.
For me.
Yeah, no, I know.
The Pink Panther was the first time I listened to a director's commentary, and then became utterly fascinated with how movies are made.
Mm-hmm. As a kid, I got taken to Universal Studios a lot, and that was when I really was
that's cool.
I mean, I knew I wanted to do it, and it was something that interested me, but the actual making of the movie never interested me. It interested me as much as writing, until I listened to the director's commentary for The Pink Panther.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting film to start
Now,
with.
it's not the most important one in the grand scheme of things, but it is the first. But yeah, moving on from all that, let's talk briefly about Dark Phoenix and
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either because it looked so trash.
It did.
And I could not bring myself to go see it.
I didn't take the main villain as a scary looking person. It's
No.
like
It just
without the visual effects.
that arc is years long in
Really?
the comics. It took years for that to resolve. That's why it's one of the most well-known and beloved like X-Men story arcs in the comics, because they introduced it and developed it over years.
Oh wait, so in the comics it's a year-long arc and they're doing it in just one film.
Yes.
I see.
It's like Civil War took a while to resolve, but the general idea you can sum up in a movie.
Right.
Dark Phoenix is like the slow like degradation of Jean Grey's mind and slowly transforming into the Phoenix. This is going to be like, oh, she gets it in the first 10 minutes.
So
and
they're
then,
really going to be like glossing over
yeah,
stuff.
and that's what X3 was about. Do you remember the original X-Men movies?
No.
Well, the third one of that series was a Dark Phoenix movie.
Huh.
And they're just doing it again.
I haven't cared about any X-Men movies since I went and saw the Wolverine Origins film.
You didn't see Logan?
No, I never saw Logan. I heard it was good.
Yeah.
I heard it was good. I'm gonna watch it.
No,
at
sure.
some point.
I'm not one of those people that's gonna make you feel like a piece of shit for not seeing a movie. Although,
Boy, line up. I'll show you my watch list, and you can say, "Wow, Taylor, you suck."
everybody, there's too many movies. There's too many movies. I haven't seen The Big Lebowski, so like, I feel like that's brutal.
That's not the crazy. Like,
Or Pulp Fiction from start to finish.
Have you seen it all in pieces?
Yeah,
How did that happen?
it's on TV all the time.
Oh, I see.
No, fair.
Well, what's funny is
Everybody stop and stare at James while he walks.
Okay.
that film is in. It's so out of order that you've probably seen it good enough.
Yeah, no, it's like I know the story. That's why I haven't like rushed to sit through the whole thing. But yeah, no, I hate when people get all that way. But yeah,
I haven't seen The Godfather Part 2, but I did see The Godfather Part 1.
I saw The Godfather Part 2. I haven't seen any of the other ones.
You haven't seen Godfather Part 1?
I haven't seen
So there's
it.
a third one
no
too, right?
Yeah, but a lot of people don't consider that.
Yeah.
That was like 20 years later, and a lot of people said it wasn't very good.
It was one of my dad's favorite movies. It was the first one and the second one.
I've heard a lot of people say The Godfather was almost a perfect trilogy,
Almost.
but the third one I
Yeah.
heard was.
What's
not
your
good.
favorite mobster movie?
The Departed.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Great film. What's yours?
Hang on. I feel so stupid. I'm blanking on the name. I want to say The Untouchables, but it is so much not it.
What about you? Do you have a
Goodfellas.
mob film?
My favorite mobster movie is Goodfellas.
My default answer is going to be Goodfellas, but only because it's the only one I could remember.
Goodfellas is solid too.
That one, I think, yeah, it's almost
The
perfect.
Departed had a lot of oh shit moments where I was literally on the edge of my seat
Yeah.
waiting for what to happen.
I remember I watched that movie on a really, really tiny screen in our hotel room when I was at the beach in Wildwood, New Jersey, with my buddy Justin, and we watched the whole thing, and it was real good.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Dark Phoenix, it didn't go well. Simon Kinberg is owning up to it and saying it's his fault that it didn't go well.
There's been a lot of films where they this, particularly superhero films, where it comes out and then the director apologizes like a week later,
Mm-hmm.
or they blame the studio for something.
Well, that's the thing, is it's like the comic books are such a wacky fucking thing that like
Right.
it's very easy for something to just not work. Like I'm saying, like on paper, Dark Phoenix, a main character gets corrupted by this evil force and becomes the villain. That sounds like a pretty simple concept. But what made the story great, like I said, was that they fleshed it out over so long. It's like, so the wrong director or a director with the wrong vision might interpret it wrong. And like when they adapt it to the screen, it just doesn't.
Sometimes
doesn't
movies
fit.
aren't good.
Yeah,
Can we all just like
yeah.
be fine with that?
But
I don't need an apology. Just like, yeah, the movie wasn't good. Sorry, guys. Like, sometimes it happens.
Yeah. Moving forward from Dark Phoenix, though, I just want to talk for a little bit about like our thoughts on what they're gonna do with the X-Men moving into the MCU.
I have no feelings about X-Men in any way. So.
All right.
I don't know enough about anything.
No, I'm gonna cut all
What are
of
your
this.
thoughts? What are your thoughts on the X-Men universe? And then we'll sit and listen.
Well, just briefly, since that's the way it's gonna go. I do think that New Mutants is gonna be pretty good. Have either of you heard about this one?
Nope.
There was a trailer for it. I think it was 2017. We got a trailer for New Mutants, and it has the girl who plays Arya in Game of Thrones, which is another thing.
Game of Thrones.
Maisie Williams, and a bunch of other people, but it looks really good. It's rated R. It was a sign that the X-Men movies and Fox were like gonna make a whole bunch of different like style superhero movies with the X-Men properties before Disney bought them up. And it looks really good because it's a horror movie. It's rated R, and it's set in this like asylum for mutants.
Sick.
And it's like it looked badass.
Sick.
But unfortunately, they fucked up the main series of X-Men movies that they had going. Not Deadpool. Deadpool has been great.
That's kind of standalone.
Oh yeah, that's its own thing, but he counts as in that universe because he was a Fox Marvel property. But X-Men Apocalypse was a garbage fire, and this looks like it was even worse. So it's like people were worried like that just X-Men were going to go away, and then I think Fox and Disney both panicked and aren't going to give New Mutants a full release. They just kind of want to stop that stuff. Like, here you can see it because we spent so much money on it. But it's going to release on either Disney Plus or fucking Hulu or something. And people will be able to watch it or not. We'll review it when it comes out because I'm still really excited for that movie. But after that, I give it, I don't know. A lot of people think that the snap happening on Earth this time, when spoiler alert for the end of Endgame, when Tony Stark snaps at the end of Endgame and that big energy pulse originates on Earth, a lot of people are thinking that the people that were snapped away because of all the Infinity Stone mumbo jumbo that's going on inside their bodies, it's gonna mess with their like DNA, and that's how we're gonna get the first mutants.
Ooh.
So like 4 years down the pipe, we're gonna get our first we're gonna get like instances of it.
Blue Lady. First Blue Lady.
Mystique, yeah. Like 4 years down the line, we're gonna get some X-Men showing up in the mainstay movies, maybe some of the shows that they have and that kind of thing.
Jessica Jones.
No, that's ending. That.
But they're bringing it back for X-Men, baby.
Season 3 of Jessica Jones just came out, and I haven't watched it yet because I can't care less.
The only Jessica Jones clip I saw was when they have that Flash-type character running away from her, and
he's fat, and it looks real terrible.
Fat, and it looks like they just sped up the footage.
Yeah, it's so bad.
I loved it because it looked so bad.
Yeah.
Part of me was like, I need to start watching this show because it looks terrible.
Season 2 was a rough time, and it came out last year. How do they have another season ready already?
These things were all made in like 1995, and they're being released slowly over the years.
I guess. Do you want to move on to the reviews?
For Men in Black?
Well, Shaft first.
Okay, well I didn't see Shaft.
Yeah, so you just sit there and be pretty and comment on our thoughts.
Smell you later, boys.
Well, no one knows. The budget hasn't been released for Shaft. I can't imagine it was much more than like $10-15 million.
That's it?
I mean...
That's very low for a Samuel L. Jackson property.
Fair enough. But it couldn't have been a lot. There's no way it was more than like 80.
Okay.
There's no way.
How much did it make in its opening weekend?
8.3. So, not a lot. It's not doing great.
Looks like all movies have not been doing well this summer, besides Endgame.
I think it's because, I think there's a lot, it's okay. There's a lot of like fatigue after Endgame. For a lot of people, that was like their emotional load being blown.
And the next big film is Star Wars.
Well, Spider-Man.
I wouldn't say Spider-Man's on the level of Endgame and
it's
Star Wars.
Not, but it's the next one that's gonna...
It's a nice little leapfrog spot.
Sure, but it's definitely the next one that's gonna make a ton of money.
Sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if it got real good like Black Panther numbers, because it's the first movie after Endgame. Everyone's favorite is Spider-Man. So I really wouldn't be surprised if it did really, really, really well. But anyway, movie's not doing great. It was a real underwhelming weekend, as we'll get into it with MiB. Spoiler alert. But no, this one is directed by Tim Story. He's done some other stuff. Let's look at some of that other stuff real quick. Kitt, do you have any thoughts?
On Shaft?
Yeah.
It was more fun than I anticipated. I thought it was going to be a lot worse, just because, I don't know, it seemed like that.
He directed the first Fantastic Four movie with Chris Evans.
I never saw it.
It's not good.
Oh, it's.
Since I was a wee lad, I never cared for superheroes.
Yeah,
Interesting.
The only good superhero movies are The Dark Knight and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
I don't know about that.
I'll die on that hill.
I don't know about that. But,
These are non-negotiable terms for me.
All right. Well, we're currently in the market for a new third host for Midnight Masterminds because Taylor's died.
Smell you later, boys.
I killed him on his hill. But anyway, no, it was. Honestly, I liked it better than MiB.
I sure did too. It was more fun.
It's just more, it's more my speed. MiB felt like they wanted to make like a PG-13 blockbuster, but also make sure that kids could watch it.
She noticed there were 2 points where a character almost said the F word and then just went like, flah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like all I can imagine was them saying like, we need PG-13 guys.
It's like. Yeah, but anyway, we'll get into that when we actually get to MiB.
Kumail Nanjiani got to say shit.
Yeah.
So PG-13.
We're not in MiB yet, guys.
All right.
That's right. We were.
No, we're talking about Shaft still.
Right.
I haven't even begun to review Shaft.
Taylor's over here getting shafted, am I right, boys? Hey, don't forget to leave a comment. How hard did Taylor get shafted?
But yeah, no, I mean, Samuel L. Jackson's always good in literally everything he does.
No, he was the best part of that whole movie.
Easy. His son, who played JJ, Jesse T. Usher.
Did a good job.
Did a good job, but, like, I don't know. Kind of generic performance.
Yeah. There were funny things that he did. There were funny things that was more directing.
Yeah, the director did a good job getting a funny performance out of him.
Yeah, he did.
There were a lot of real good lines, like, like little, like, quiet under his breath lines that he delivered pretty well.
Yeah,
but otherwise, like, he was at his best when he wasn't playing the goofy. I think he was at his best when he finally
kicking ass.
When he finally came into his own, because that's just. I mean, you knew that's how this movie was gonna go. Shaft's son starts out as a geek, and then becomes a Shaft. I will say, there was a lot of weird, like.
Oh, that's right.
There was a lot of weird, like, almost racism and almost misogyny and almost, that like, not good back in my day bullshit.
Barely addressed.
That they would bring it up and then move past it but never resolve it.
Yeah, it was like just, oh, Dad.
Yeah, no, like, there was a lot of that. Like Samuel L. Jackson would say some back in my day Thanksgiving fight causing stuff. Like you millennials, the conversation they had about women, where it's like...
you don't apologize.
You don't apologize to women. You fucking... I'm like, whoa, hang on a minute.
Man, those good old days where you don't apologize to women.
But, like, Sam Jackson's like, women want a man. I mean, unless they want a woman, or both, and to be honest with you, those are my favorites. Which was a good line.
Yes.
But then moves on to say, like, women want someone to be manly. And then his son gets in the car and he's like, I don't know about that, Pop. Like, yeah. Right now, like, women want to be treated like people. And, like, they want you to apologize when you fuck up and, like, own your shit. And then Samuel L. Jackson's like, nah, dog, nah. And I'm like...
And then they move on.
And
that was it. And then he was saying a bunch of racist shit about the people at the mosque.
Yes!
And they never talked about it.
Mosque?
Like...
So there's another thing. So Shaft's son, JJ, works at the FBI as a data analyst. And they're monitoring this mosque.
That's a good fucking job, man.
That's a great job.
Yeah, he's probably got great benefits.
Sure,
he probably gets paid very well.
He can't get laid though because he's a fucking geek.
Because he's a pussy geek who keeps telling people that he's a data analyst for the FBI. Because in 2019, a woman doesn't want to hear that a dude
is rolling in money.
Works for the FBI, but in the safest position he could have.
Probably has a very nice apartment.
He does an amazing apartment.
It was like a loft. It was like a brick loft
in Brooklyn.
And then because his dad said you're not a real man, your T levels are too low. Yeah. He's like, well, I'm gonna go start shooting guns.
And that's exactly what happens.
It's exactly
he doesn't attract the hot girl until he murders a bunch of people.
Hey, you know what? A lot of my Facebook friends from high school, I think, have gone through something similar where they're
she was absolutely the whole movie too. She was like anti-gun, anti-Shaft,
anti-violence, anti-Shaft,
and then
doing
as
the Shaft
soon as
thing,
he started like fucking shit up
popping
and like
off,
killing people,
she
and,
gets
like,
all horny and bites her lip and is like, "Ooh, now I'm gonna fuck him." And
it's like, what is this message here?
Like, make your mind up. Either just be set in your ways and unapologetically so, but make a joke out of it so you don't get obliterated.
But finish the mosque thought. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Sorry, they're talking about how they have to monitor the sheik at the mosque for terrorist activity, and it's like a joke because they don't want CNN to go out and talk about how the FBI is Islamophobic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, yeah, because you kind of are being Islamophobic because you haven't presented us, the audience, or your fellow FBI agents with any tangible evidence that this motherfucker is a terrorist.
They mention it in the movie. He was like, is there any evidence that he's like...
A terrorist?
And he was like, no.
But
just flat out like, no.
Keep monitoring this mosque. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Jesus Christ. And then it pays off as a joke because they think it's him, and they like cling to that idea that it's the sheik because he's acting all sus. Really, he's a Muslim who's terrified in 2019 of the FBI.
That there's FBI in his mosque
interrogating his daughter. Which, I mean, yeah, you'd be freaked out. But then they arrest him, and there's no evidence, and then it's a joke that CNN blasts the FBI for being Islamophobic.
And it's
I'm like, but you are being Islamophobic.
It's not commentary if it's happening.
Yeah. And then Samuel L. Jackson has and I quote, Puerto Ricans I don't fucking trust folder. I'm like, that's a little uncool.
And it was like, ha, oh, Dad.
And then JJ references that Shaft has a racist filing system for his case files. And I'm like, see, like, you can do that if Shaft learns. You know what I mean?
Yes, and he never learns.
If the payoff to that joke is that, okay, he develops, like, he's like, okay, now it's just... You know what I mean? You don't have to be. You don't have to be ham-fisted with it. You know what I mean?
Tyler, but he did learn. He learned to apologize to his ex-wife.
Right.
And then immediately ask for sex.
Yeah, and then he apologizes, but then immediately expects. No. He goes because the whole bit is the mom doesn't want their son to be involved in the same dangerous Shaft life. That's why he's a dad. That's why he's in shape and can defend himself, but a data analyst. Well, he meets Shaft, and the whole bit is the mom is like, I can't believe you got our son involved in this shit. JJ went to Shaft to help with a case. So the whole point is like, oh, I guess it runs in their blood. And they have like a reconcile moment where Shaft Shaft the second apologizes to the mom and is like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'll protect our son and all that. And then immediately says, you're going to break a brother off? And I'm like, God damn it. And it's a joke, too, where she's like, you had to go and ruin the moment. But he literally never grows as a character. He never learns. Because in the beginning of the movie, he cares about his family. The whole time, Shaft. It's like, and it's also unclear which of the two of them is the main character. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. They don't really pick one.
It starts with JJ.
Which is kind of fine. No, it starts with Shaft. Wait. It starts with John. And then it transitions to JJ. Oh. That's what I mean.
Well, who changes in the story?
Neither of them. Well, I mean, JJ, he puts on the leather jacket and the turtleneck at the end.
JJ gets himself a suave ass fucking.
Hey man, if you've never put on a turtleneck and a leather jacket in order to have your moment.
I don't know. It felt like it wanted to be smarter and more woke. I did air quotes just then than it actually.
#woke.
That it actually ended up being.
Yeah.
I think it should have just tried to be. I really think it should have just tried to be Shaft.
Just unapologetic.
Unapologetically fucking Samuel L. Jackson. You can do the nerdy son angle, absolutely. But all the like, all right, we think it's the sheik. Oh, turns out we shouldn't be racist towards Muslims. You know what I mean? Like, that was so awkward.
It was.
The way they incorporated everything. And there's a lot of homophobic jokes too.
Oh my god. Like, there's a whole bit where he and
the JJ's best friend gets killed. It's not a spoiler because it is so obviously going to happen from the second you meet him.
Yeah.
That if you don't figure it out, honestly, frankly, I'm sad for you.
Hey there, best friend that I wouldn't be able to live without.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, and he comes up and he's like an ex-junkie and he's just started making his life better. And he started this company called Brothers... What? Brothers...
Saving Brothers?
Brothers Saving Brothers or something?
Brothers Helping Brothers?
Brothers Looking Out for Brothers or something like that.
Brothers Watching Brothers?
It was brothers watching out for brothers, because that was the point. It's like, in the ghetto, brother means like, you know.
Brother.
Friend.
So, like, the whole joke is like...
What's the vernacular?
It's like, well, it's like, the joke is that he's like, okay, so your friend was gay, because brothers looking out for brothers. And they're like, no. Like, it's like for vets to help each other when they get back and they can't find a job and they're dealing with PTSD and no one wants to help them because they're a vet. It's to
Samuel L. Jackson's like, those guys are gay though.
Nah, bunch of gay guys though.
Wait, I have a question.
Shoot.
During the film, when they go to the Watching Brothers or whatever the fuck it was, he talks to the secretary guy.
Secretary was gay.
Secretary was gay.
Yep.
That's what that was?
That was an attempt to earn their homophobic jokes by having a gay character in their movie look at Shaft and Shaft not treat him like an asshole.
Okay. All right, cuz it was like really vague.
But it was
to me.
it was gross. So basically he makes all these homophobic jokes and then the receptionist at the Brothers Protecting Brothers or whatever place is like gay and like thinks Shaft is all
He's
hot.
like giving him eyebrows
And gives them
and stuff.
all these sultry looks, you know? And then Shaft goes, yeah,
voice?
I'll see you later, and does like a finger guns type thing.
Yeah.
And it's like the whole point is like, oh, okay, Shaft just earned all the homophobic jokes that he made in this movie by being cool with the receptionist who's gay. And it's like, no, that's kind of not how it works.
It was bizarre.
Besides all that, really, if they just leaned into the action and the suave,
because that was fun.
Tearing up Brooklyn's underbelly and all that, fucking great. It would have been an amazing blockbuster.
It was really hilarious with the juxtaposition of JJ not liking guns and
Yes.
not being able to.
Well, that's the thing, is like the juxtaposition of him not liking guns and violence and doing things his dad's way, but actually being really good at it.
Yeah.
It was fun to see him become a Shaft, but all the weird, like, misogyny and, like, weird old ideas that were just kind of...
Yeah.
It would have worked really well in the 90s.
Do you think it
or
was
early 2000s.
aimed at people who are older and typically feel like their views are being outdated?
Yes. There was a lot of,
like... a callback to, like, nope, you guys are right the whole time.
There was a lot of, like, fuck your GPS. Learn how to read a map. Or just live on these streets.
I used to drink out of a water hose and I'm just fine.
Yeah. Why don't you fucking young people just talk to each other anymore? And I'm like, well, because texting's more convenient and you can have the plans in stone to reference later.
We didn't wear helmets, and I'm fine.
Yeah, more or less. And I don't know. It was a lot of fun when it shut up and was an action movie. Or like Bad Boys 2, like thriller.
But the things that piece the action sequences together are not
dragged it down. Yes, dragged it down. But anyway, moving on. Oh, go ahead.
I just said I laughed a lot.
Me too. I laughed a lot more than I did in Men in Black International.
MiB.
Which we literally just saw like a few hours ago. Literally a few hours ago. Directed by F. Gary Gray, who's done a lot of stuff.
What else has he done? It's his highest IMDb score.
I don't know, but he's done. He did the Italian Job, but the one that had Jason Statham in it. He did. He did Friday.
Was that the? Ice Cube.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Straight Outta Compton. The
one that was a few years ago.
Yeah, he did The Fate of the Furious, which is
Eights in the.
Yeah, which is the last one I think that had Charlize Theron in it.
Yeah.
And it starred Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson.
Liam Neeson.
Back on screen again. After Thor Ragnarok. Also had Kumail Nanjiani as Pawnee, the cute little alien you saw in the trailers.
Kumail's the best.
The absolute best thing about this movie, hands down.
And honestly, I still didn't like him that much.
No, that's the best part. It's like he wasn't even that great. He just was far the best.
The least worst part of the movie.
It was the flavor.
It had one of my favorite actresses right now, Rebecca Ferguson, in it. She played Riza. She's fourth build, and she had one scene.
She the director lady?
She was the chick with the three arms and the hair.
Right.
Wait, she's an arms dealer, and she had multiple arms.
I hate her
more
now.
Thank you for joining us for Midnight Masterminds. We're never doing this podcast again.
Oh my god!
You've discovered.
Oh my god, that's fucking funny.
I didn't catch that either until
Emma Thompson played played Agent O, and then we had Liam Neeson as Agent High T, who is the leader of all Men in Blacks.
Right. The movie was underwhelming.
Very, in almost every way, yeah.
It was a mediocre sci-fi film and a bad comedy.
Yeah.
I watched the trailers and I was a lot more excited about it. And then I watched it and I said, oh, all the exciting, fun things were in the trailer.
Literally, and in different ways.
And,
a lot of better deliveries and better coverage for a lot of the jokes and lines and action points were in the trailer and then not in the final version. So the bit where he goes in your little club here sucks. The image they have, the shot that they have of him doing that in the trailer is better. And then there's one where I think Well, actually, the one I think actually works is at the end when Chris Hemsworth goes, "The men and women in black," and then Pawnee goes, "Nice save." I think that's funnier than perfectly done.
Yeah.
I
Oh
think-
my god.
I think "Nice save" is better, but like they changed a lot basically from the trailer to the movie.
So many of the jokes in this movie are just so.
Blah.
It feels like it was it's a comedy written by someone who doesn't do comedy.
Yeah.
Correct.
Someone who thinks this is it's almost like they put it into a board meeting and said, like they wrote a normal movie, and then they got a bunch of comedians to say, please add comedy to the movie.
Yeah.
And so, but without changing any overarching storylines or plot things, just add some funny one-liners we can add to the film, which is rarely a funny thing to put in a film.
Yeah.
It's a lot of like people looking back like, oh, well, you weren't so good at that.
Yeah. Like Tessa Thompson reacting like to aliens in goofy ways with her face and body language. I want to say their performances were good. Like
Yes.
Tessa Thompson and Hemsworth, they were. I mean, I'm blaming a lot of it on the script. That's the thing. Is like they're both proven competent actors, very much so.
Sure.
And it just felt like what they were forced to say, they did their best. Like Chris Hemsworth was doing his best to sell his character, but his character was shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did not like Chris Hemsworth's character.
No.
Yeah.
He was unlikable the whole
Yeah, and like
movie.
maybe the argument could be made that a better actor would have been able to salvage it, but I really don't think so.
It's just
No.
a
It's one of
bad
those.
character.
It's just one of those things where the character was real shit.
He doesn't have an arc.
No, he really doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't grow at all,
Doesn't
right?
grow.
He
The
doesn't
main
do
character.
anything.
Main character doesn't even. No one grows in this
No,
movie.
there's no change. I was really worried that they were gonna make them fall in love at the end.
Oh my god, me too.
Yeah.
I was so worried that was gonna happen. I want them to continue to do movies where they play opposite each other and are just friends. Like, just keep doing that because that's great. Because Thor and Valkyrie are just friends. And now these two are just friends. We don't need every male and female,
Thank you.
you know,
We don't.
pair to fuck at the end of our movie for it to be satisfying.
Like Zootopia.
Thank you.
Yeah, Rafe Spall was in this.
Who's that?
He was Agent C. I think he's Timothy Spall's son.
He was good.
He was good. He was smarmy in the beginning, but you warmed to him.
What's smarmy?
Smarmy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like very like, yeah, I'm gonna get you, Hemsworth.
Oh.
Technically, in the book, it says this, and you didn't do that. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell
exactly.
Fox.
What a great word.
Yeah.
Smarmy.
Yeah.
It sounds nice. Rolls off the tongue.
Smarmy.
It's the sad thing is it's like it sounds like we're really struggling for things to say. When a movie just kind of happens, it's not so bad that you can talk about it for hours, and it's not so good you want to rant about it for hours.
It's just.
There's
it
really
was
nothing
what
to
it
say. We can talk about that really awful
Moon?
insert. So there's a bit where they need to show that it's going from daytime to nighttime
In the desert.
in the desert. So they cut to the most grainy, like,
Which I think was video footage, but because it looks like it was captured in real time, the moon doesn't move at a pace that's detectable, so it looks like a still image.
and there's no clouds. They didn't put any clouds in. They didn't put like a plane going by or
It's awkwardly like it's just
anything.
like scene is happening, and then hard cut moon
to a still image
for like
of a
5
moon.
or 6 seconds, and then hard cut back to them at night working on the bike.
And what was probably a set.
Yeah,
And
probably yeah.
it felt like, which is fine. You don't have to go to the desert to shoot everything, but like.
It looked so Hannah Montana Beach.
It really did. It really, like, you could tell that they had a real tiny amount of
sand.
beach to work, of desert to work with, and they were trying to utilize it the best they could.
The chemistry between the main characters, Chris Hemsworth and the lady, whose name I don't remember.
Tessa Thompson,
Sure.
Agent M,
Yeah, Agent M and Thor.
Agent H.
They
You can remember that because Chris Hemsworth, Agent H.
Preparation H.
Yeah.
Because he's an asshole the whole time.
Oh, he really is that's a good joke. He is an asshole. He really is
He
an
keeps
asshole.
getting rewarded for asshole behavior the
Yeah.
whole movie, too.
Yeah, and they explain why he's an asshole because he was like a really good, competent agent, and then he got
Neurons?
spoiler alert, he got the flashy stick done to him.
And then it's revealed that he never actually stopped the hive
Yeah.
in a twist that you saw coming from 30 minutes out.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah.
As soon as they're like, wait, maybe they needed to defeat the Hive, I was like, you didn't do it the first time.
I will say one joke that kind of got me for like a second was when she was like talking to the grunt for Riza.
Okay.
And she realizes that it's the same. So she thinks that it's just the same race of alien.
Right.
Tarantian or whatever.
Right.
She thinks it's just the same race of alien that she met when she was a child. But then it's revealed that it's literally the same alien that she met when she was a kid. And I like, because it cuts to Rebecca Ferguson's character. She goes, "Are you shitting me?" And it's like what the audience is saying. And I like that. Like they could hang a lantern on it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then they kind of ruin it.
It's the least bad joke of the movie.
Correct.
Yeah. They do kind of, then they spoil it by making it last for too long.
It was
also, how did that resolve? Did he kill Riza?
Yeah, and then they just kind of leave.
They're
And
literally just walking down.
Here's what they said. They were like, how about you just keep her here so we can get away? And then it cuts to them leisurely strolling.
Yeah, they're just gingerly, nicely walking down the
You
path.
can't have him brutally kill her because that would make an interesting part of a movie.
Yeah,
and
they
that's
probably
clearly something they were trying not to do here.
Yeah, and then they just end up on a cliff over or in front of a green screen. I mean the ocean. And then the aliens that have been chasing them the whole movie, who you think are the main bad guys, show up, and then the MiB show up and kill the bad guys. But it turns out, those aliens weren't bad.
They just wanted to save their home, and Men in Black are bad. And
well, the leader of Men in Black are bad.
It turns out that the Hive, who was defeated at the beginning of the movie, you got psyched, boy, because they ain't. And
yeah, they weren't. He became Liam Hemsworth.
Liam Hemsworth
Neeson,
becomes
sorry.
the
Liam
Hive.
Neeson, sorry.
Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth is like, kiss me, honey.
It wasn't great, guys. It wasn't great.
It wasn't fun. All of the fight sequences are resolved with like no long-term effects.
Yeah.
Each fight scene they walk away from like, well, that was crazy.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth gets the shit kicked out of him by that big Tarantian fucking thing. But he doesn't have any cuts. He's got like a few bruises.
His
maybe,
shirt has 2 holes in it.
But there's no blood. There's no cuts. That's what I mean by like.
Yeah.
So it couldn't decide if it wanted to be a hard PG-13 or like barely PG-13.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it had that awful kill in the beginning where they literally turn a dude to mush and then he splats on the ground.
See, okay.
And you see his hair. He looks literally like a decomposing body.
Can I talk about that for a second? Because
Yeah.
I was kind of excited about that because then I was thinking back to all the weird, gross shit that old Men in Black movies used to do. So I got excited. I was like, yes, this movie's going to be like that, where it's like a little more hardcore than what you would expect. And then the rest of the movie was mega soft. And I was like, okay.
So I guess when Agent M, Tessa Thompson, was having her suit up scene, someone wanted her to say, "And I make this shit look good," like Will Smith did in the first one. Yeah. And she was like, "Absolutely not."
Yeah, she was like,
and I'm like, "Thank you for having restraint." There's a fine line between nostalgia and like just shoving something that you like referencing something that's better than you.
Right.
Like you don't like the Star Wars prequels should not reference the original trilogy. You know what I mean? You don't want to draw attention to how bad what you're doing right now is compared to the way it used to be, which was an issue that so many of these remakes have.
One thing I noticed in
sequels have.
Men in Black International is there's a lot of scenes where people talk at a normal voice like this to people who are pretty far away from them.
Yeah.
Or in the loud nightclub scene.
Oh, yeah.
Where music is supposedly blaring and they're just talking at a normal tone of voice and everyone's hearing everything.
Yeah, and they're talking about
scene where they're
material.
like shooting guns at the guy and then the guy who's like hanging upside down from the car is just like,
help me.
Yeah, and then they're just like, we'll be right there, man. It's like you're like a half a block away shooting a gun.
Giant laser guns. That was fun though, but you could like the
it's
CG.
It's the funnest fight in the whole film.
Yeah, but the CG in
disassembling that car.
The CG in that sequence was real not good though.
No,
you could really tell that no one was holding a prop. They just had to mime with their hands.
Yeah,
that
just
they were
like
holding
doing
a
this
gun.
thing.
Yeah,
there was a lot of floatiness. The bike that they get on felt very floaty.
At first, it felt real bad.
The weight of it changes throughout.
Yes, yeah, and you're unclear what it's capable of. Like, is it a jet bike that can go anywhere, or does it hover over a surface? And that's why he did like a jump over that building.
many of the fully CGI characters feel plasticky.
Yes.
And stiff and rigid.
Like, they look like they're out of an animated movie. Like, that chick who was slow-moing Chris Hemsworth in the beginning.
I was like, why are you focusing on this character that looks like it doesn't take up that space?
And then the green alien in the beginning, Jimmy or whatever his name was, who just wanted to see his kids.
Also, why was that character in there at all?
Because Tessa Thompson was tracking him to try to catch the MiB.
No, sorry, one back. The
slow-mo lady? So
she took up way too much screen time.
She just existed as a joke.
Yeah.
They did but they also did the bit really long, because they did the bit and we got that she could like slow and fast forward time, and then they did it again.
And then she like rewinds, and then you see it again, and then she fast forwards and rewinds.
And it's like, we get it. We got it.
I was like, oh man, can't wait to get... They should have just gone all in, done a 10-minute sequence of that.
Or just rewinding Chris Hemsworth and everyone being like, lady, you gotta stop. I don't know.
She's like, no!
I don't know.
The movie is the worst kind of movie where it's not even so bad that you can make fun of it. It's just boring.
It just existed. It didn't. I don't have.
It falls in the valley of no real entertainment value.
It's like Need for Speed.
Some of the sets are cool looking.
Yeah.
The Men in Black headquarters looks cool.
Yeah. The alien designs are cool, but the way they execute them aren't great.
No.
There was a guy who, when she's getting off of the train at the Men in Black headquarters, who's in a normal suit, but otherwise is like
bubbles.
Bulby. And I thought that looked cool.
But the execution.
But instead, they focus on plastic, blue and red lady who rewinds time with her ear.
I'm just I don't know.
The misdirection in the film it's just boring.
It was not good.
Wouldn't recommend anybody if you're like super into Men in Black.
If you have A-list, this is a good A-list movie.
Honestly, wait for it to go on Netflix.
But
I wouldn't even bother driving the 20 minutes to the theater.
Yeah, if you have a theater close and you have A-list and you want like a decent time killer to watch that'll make you giggle like twice.
Yeah.
But otherwise not really leave much of an impression on your life. Go see Men in Black. But otherwise, wasn't great.
I don't see this doing more than 2 weeks in theaters.
Yeah, it really wasn't great.
Even because it just came out.
Oh, right? I didn't talk about the box office, did I?
Yeah, it underperformed.
It had a $110 million budget.
And it cleared.
And you can assume, and then general rule of thumb is you can assume it gets close to doubling itself for the marketing campaign.
Let's assume it needs $200 million
to clear everything that they paid, because the budget does not account for the marketing and the ad campaign. It has made $28 million right now.
In its first weekend.
Not great.
So you can assume that by the end of its run, it'll maybe make $50 to $60 million.
Maybe.
So then it's going to really rely on streaming and DVD sales in order to
this movie with this budget wanted to make like $60 million this weekend.
Yeah.
And it definitely didn't get close.
How did Secret Life of Pets 2 do? I'm wondering if they stiffened.
Did they?
Because this felt like a family film more than a
It really did, because it was so bloodless for the most part.
There was no blood at any point.
There was that one horrific melted man.
Yeah, there were two horrific melted men.
There were two horrific melted men, and then we move on.
Wow. Well, it came out a little while ago, but Secret Life of Pets 2 has already surpassed its production budget.
Nice.
At $92 million.
Well, Illumination also makes their movies very cheap compared to Disney and DreamWorks. So
but that's still good.
That's still
they look
great.
Very good, but
that's its domestic gross. It's at worldwide. It's at 154. So.
And how much did it cost?
80.
Wow.
Damn. So they probably covered their advertising.
They're just about at that double their production budget.
And that movie's gonna kill with DVD sales and streaming, and doesn't include merchandise, which is another thing.
Yeah. It's only been out for 10 days. That movie will have legs for a little while as a family movie, especially because Summer's letting out. Actually no, it's mid-June now, so everyone's out.
What's the next big animated film to come out? Is it Toy Story 4?
I think it's Toy Story 4.
Toy Story 4 will probably kick it out of theaters.
Toy Story 4 will kick ass.
Yeah, it will.
Whether it's good or not.
Toy Story 4 is going to get every genre of person to come and
see
it.
Much, yeah, right.
And I'm glad that we can go see it for the next episode of this.
Yeah.
Because we were going to do it for this one, but we misunderstood when it came out, and it didn't come out yet.
Yeah. Well, I saw it had Rotten Tomatoes scores already out, and I was like, all right, it must be out, and it is not. June 20th.
Yep.
21st, sorry.
Well, it starts the technical full release is June 21st, but you can get late evening and night screenings.
Going off the poster I saw.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, sorry.
What's up?
I was gonna say, we saw a trailer for that movie about the kids. And it's kids doing adult shit and not knowing how to do adult shit.
Yeah,
and it
Bad
looked
kids?
really good.
Yeah.
And really funny.
Yeah,
Super bad.
And I
kids.
got really excited about it.
We got Super Bad, and then 10 years later, we got Super Bad with girls and Super Bad with kids in the same couple months.
I thought it looked really good. The trailer made me laugh a lot.
What do you guys think of Booksmart?
I didn't watch it.
I haven't seen it yet.
It was very good. I highly recommend it.
Was it? Okay, I didn't know what to...
If you like super bad type movies, if you're into like the old Judd Apatow style filmmaking,
I really want to see it.
Booksmart is a solid continuation of that style of filmmaking.
Cool.
Solid jokes throughout. Solid. It does a couple story things I'm not a fan of. A lot of these, it's kind of got a vibe of a buddy cop movie.
Oh, interesting.
And most buddy cop movies, if you've ever read Save the Cat, you know that the way you transition from second to third act is that you have to have the two main characters fight. It's in every buddy cop movie ever made. And it's something you see coming from. Like, for no reason, they have to force the two characters to break up. And then the third act is them coming back together.
Yep. Anyway, Good Boys looks real good.
I thought it was Bad Kids.
It's Good Boys.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. I'm looking at the IMDb page right now.
All right, well, there you go. It's Good Boys.
The Bad Kids is a movie from 2016. Anyway.
Spy Kids is a movie from 2005.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. It comes out a few days before my birthday, so I'm looking forward to reviewing that one. Thank you.
How old are you turning?
24.
24.
In August. But anyway,
Jack Bauer.
That's all I have to say about the stuff we're covering on this episode. Yeah, I'm tired.
Me too.
After that.
I have to go grocery shopping and do my laundry tonight.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us for another episode of Midnight Masterminds. Yeah, we're gonna try to do this again every 2 weeks. We get an episode of Midnight Masterminds every second Friday. So look forward.
Question.
For what?
Where do you get the title Midnight Masterminds? I'm interested.
I don't know. Ask Wyatt.
Is it alliteration?
Well, ask Wyatt, Katimae, and Aaron. They made the show. I'm just carrying on in their name.
Torch.
This feels like a Guns N' Roses situation.
It is a little bit.
Everybody's been cycled out.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like a completely new cast. But anyway, I was on it. I was on it for long enough to count as a regular cast member.
Okay.
But anyway, I've been Tyler. And I've had two people help me with this podcast.
I was Taylor.
I was Kitt.
Oh, boy. Thank you for joining us.